Hey there, Julia here. Today I am prepping for the San Francisco Pin Show. The Pin Show this year is August 29th through the 31st, and this is the first time that I'm attending this particular show, and I know it's a big one. There's a very large vendor list, lots of classes and workshops. I've seen videos of past crowds, so I am expecting this experience to be a little heightened, a little different than what I'm used to with pin shows. I am attending only for this one, which will be nice because I want to be able to take it all in. I've helped at tables in both Chicago and St. Louis and the Colorado Pin Show, so I'm very excited to just be attending and have a good time. So in this little hangout, I'll show you my show insert, what I'm bringing, what's on my wish list, and yeah, let's start with the insert. This is from Traveler's Company. This is the Tokyo insert, I think from last year, and I have made some modifications here. I've erased, just with a plain eraser, erased some of the graphics here, and then I did a yours truly Baumkuchen service to add this pocket, the grommets, and some pockets on the inside. But since I am going to Tokyo shortly-ish after the San Francisco Pin Show, I wanted to bring this to remind me to not go too balls to the wall, because this is where I want to go balls to the wall. So this is the Pin Show insert that I've been using all year for any pin-related shows and events. And so I have them tabbed out here. Let's go to San Francisco. Here we go. So this is the San Francisco section, and my plan is to scatter ephemera throughout. I'll show you a little bit of Chicago. Yeah, I have some ephemera and stickers and stamps kind of spread throughout, and pictures throughout the insert, and so I want to do the same for this. So opening up, I have the schedule of events for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, marking down with a little star what's optional. And here I just have nib appointments, workshops, and just the general hours here. And then on this other side, I have the show map to reference. Will I reference it? Possibly, but it's still really fun to have this to look back on. I know I did something similar last year for Stationery Fest, and it's just really cool to see the show map. I love maps also, so there's that. But also on here, I went ahead and found where the nib grinders are going to be, and I have color coded that so I can get a roundabout idea of where they are. Also outlined some of the places that I want to go that are marked on my wish list, which we'll get to. And then the next section, I have what to bring. So I always like to bring my Julia here little stickers and cards to hand out to folks and friends. And then I am needing to bring my own ground nibs that I've done myself for Kirk Spear to check out. We've talked about it the last couple of shows, and I keep forgetting to bring one of my nibs for him to check out. So gonna do that. And then down here, I'm just thinking through what I want to get nib grinds on. I've mentioned before that for me, pin shows, like my number one priority 9 times out of 10 is to get new nib grinds and kind of flesh out my nib grind collection. And so I do have a pin that I need a repair and a tune on, and I would like Kirk to do that. I want to check out the Big Button Girl. It says Big Button Girl, but it might be Big Bottom Girl. I'm not sure, but I have an appointment with JJ Lax and I want to check that nib out. Also, I don't have an appointment with CY, but I'm going to try to do a walk-in with him because I really, really want the Sankakusen grind on a Yovo nib so I can swap out. I have it on a Diplomat Excellence A2 and I love it, and so I would love to have it on a Yovo nib. He is not grinding at Tips in Tokyo, so this will be my opportunity to try to get this grind on a Yovo nib. And then I have the Katana grind from Kirk, but specifically on a silver Yovo. It's getting to the point now where I'm like, the grinds that I really like I want to have them on both Yovo silver and gold plated so I can match the nibs to the pins as well. Is it a little wild and wacky? Maybe, but that's where we are. And then same thing here with JJ Lax and the CSI Cursive Smooth Italic on a gold Yovo nib. I say only, but I have CSI grinds on a silver Yovo and a black plated Yovo. So I need to get it on a gold one as well. I'm also curious about Kirk's posting nib. And if I decide I don't like the big bottom girl grind, then maybe I can do a mini stub on a silver Yovo as well. I also have space here for when I'm sitting at the nib grind table to try out nibs or to just show the nib before and after the grind. I like to have that type of space for that. Let me see what it looked like for St. Louis. Did I use it? Pretty much. I have a space here where I was going through and doing all of Kirk's grinds here, Matthew Chin's here. So I like to do that. And with my like social anxiety, it's something to do as I'm talking. I can be doing something with my hands and it's really helpful to have a space for that. And then also, this is a new section for me. I find that when I'm purchasing pins at pin shows and I'm asked what nib size I want, especially if it's like a maker pin or a pin with a Yovo nib, I start short-circuiting, trying to think of what nibs I have and how many, and if it's silver or gold and all of that. So I just have a quick reference of the nibs, the Yovo nibs that I have. So if I happen to be looking at a maker pin, that's a Yovo nib, and they ask me what nib I want, and it happens to be silver, then I will probably say extra fine, broad, or double broad, just so I can like even that out. I should not be getting any more silver fine nibs at this point. So just quick reference for me here. Okay, and then here I have just a list of things that I'm on the lookout for. So these are things that I just want to see and maybe not so much purchase. So there's a new Shown pin that's really cool. It's like a Monarch Evo. It's like an integrated type of Monarch nib, really cool looking. I would love to see that, hold it, maybe get to write with it would be cool. I'm also just on the lookout for any new paper types. I've mentioned a lot that I've been in a paper rabbit hole ever since the beginning of the year and the Tomoy River paper debacle. So I'm just interested in any new paper types. Franklin Christoph, I really don't know that much about, but I've been learning, and so I would like to check that table out. I know that it is typically really busy, so it'd be nice to see, nice to check out. And then I do want to try the Pilot Signature nib again. And then down for the wish list, I feel like this wish list is pretty small. I feel like I'm gonna stick to it. So the Monarch nib, I got to look at these up close, try them out at Chicago, and I almost walked away with a pin or a nib. I just couldn't at that time, especially by the end of the show. I had done way too much damage and I could not justify getting the Monarch nib, but I do want to take a second look and maybe think about that. And if Shown Design has their little cleaner tools, I would love to get those. I know they sell them online. They're pretty inexpensive, but they're just little tools that you can put into different nib units and just flush it out super quick. It's interesting. It's inexpensive. It helps with cleaning. So I'm interested in checking those out if they have it with them at the show. I'm going to butcher this, but I think this is a Turkish brand. I could be wrong there because they're super new to me, but it's Studio this word. And I'm looking at the Yulin model. It's a really cool looking pin, and it has like a little snake for like wrapped around the cap, and it goes into the clip. Really cool. I just want to check it out, pick it up, hold it, and see what I think. And if they have a color that's rep coated, yay Swifties. If they have something that really calls to me, then I may pull the trigger on that. There are also a couple of inks that were mentioned by you in the different color exploration videos that I want to check out here. So not too bad as far as inks. I think that would be lovely if I could just stick to these two. There are a couple more on my radar, and if I see anything that really calls to me, then I'm not going to give myself a hard time about it. I also want to add on here Rob Penworks. I'm pretty sure he's going to be there, but I would love another nib holder, and I really like his work, and he's a super nice guy, so I definitely want to support. And if I get a nib holder, then I'm gonna need another Kakamori nib, because so I have this space here where I film and do journaling and things like that, but I also do some of that stuff at my computer desk as well, and I'm there a lot during the day, and so I would love to have a Kakamori dip nib and holder in both places. So that would be really nice to pick up a new nib holder and a Kakamori nib. And then back here, I do have a tab for this so I can get to it quickly, but an area for testing out inks and pens and things like that. Also workshop notes. I am taking expressive sketching, which is like urban sketching with fountain pens and fountain pen inks. I think that'll be really fun. And then I am taking the Appy C workshop on journaling with fountain pens. I'm sure I will pick up some tidbits there. Plus, Abby is awesome. I love her channel. So I think that'll be fun. And so I'll put some notes back here for that. And then back here, speaking of workshops, in St. Louis, I took a class on non-adhesive bookbinding, and so I've made these little inserts. I know they're not like the correct TN size, but I was just going in blind, wanting to travel with some different paper types. So I have View Corona, which is a paper I've really been loving lately for swatching and for writing. It's very close to Tomoe River paper in my opinion. It shows shading and sheen so well. And so I have an insert of that. And then I have B7 Natural, which is similar to Cosmo Air Light. And I have that back here as well. I decided to take these two paper types along because I'm thinking that my planner for next year, for 2026, is going to be either of these two paper types. And so I would love to just test some things on this particular paper, and it might help my decision along a little bit. And then in the very back, I have a small piece of blotter paper. And yeah, that is the insert. I love having a little pen show insert. It's so fun at the end of the year. I'll just flip through a few more from St. Louis. Yeah, so super fun. That is that. So the pens that I am bringing my currently inked. This is in a Rickshaw Sinclair bag. I have my currently inked pens here, along with the new Magna Carta MST, because I'm sure people will be curious about that. So I want to bring that along. And then this goes in here. So here's that. I also have this little zip up of appointment nibs. I did this in St. Louis as well, and it worked out so well. So I have just some Yovo nib units here and one pen. So what I do is just go to my nib appointment. I'll already know which grinds I want to get and on what color nib, and so I'll go ahead and install that. Hand it over, they'll work their magic, I'll test it, be like, yay, and then I'll just take out that nib and put in the next one, do that grind, continue. So I've been liking doing that so I don't have to carry as many pens with me. They don't like them inked up anyways, so this is just a kind of placeholder pen for the show. And then I also have that Mont Blanc 2021P that needs some work done on it. I actually found this at an antique store for $75 US, and it's mostly fine, but yeah, you can see the space in the nib there, so it needs some work. And let's see if I can show you that there's space, yeah, in between the nib and the feed there. I could probably tinker around with this and bring it back to life. You can write with it, it writes okay, but I would love to get a professional to bring it back, and yeah. So I have that with me. And then, hot tip, bring an empty pen case always. Every time I think like, oh no, I'm not gonna buy that many pens and they'll give me little pen sleeves with the purchase, it just never works out. Just bring an empty pen case, you'll need it. So I do have that in here as well. And then what else is in the bag? So let's talk about the bag. This is by Rickshaw, and this is the bonsai bag. I love these. You can customize everything about it. The outside, even what color this is, the color of the inside. If you want these little add-ons on the front, different pockets, all of that. So I really like this bag, and I've never used one for a pen show, so this will be the first time. I just thought it would be a good idea because usually I have a backpack purse on, and it's a little hard, especially when it's crowded, to get into the bag and to put things in it and take things out when you have to swing it around, and it's a whole thing. So I definitely want to try this. It comes with a strap, so it's more like a shoulder bag, and it fits all of my things. I also have a little nib wipe attached to it because especially after flying, sometimes my pens get a little ink happy, and so I'll have this as a quick draw way to clean a nib. So in here, I also have my ink directory, and I think this is the first time that I'm bringing my ink directory with me to a show, but it's needed, I think, because especially at this show, I'm going to be tempted by some inks, and so I want to have my ink directory with me so I can say, you already have an ink color that looks like this, so you do not need that ink. Or especially in this teal section, look how many teals you have. Do you need more teals? So hopefully this will curb some ink buying and help me out to not buy colors that I already have or similar colors that I don't need any more of. So I am bringing this along. I do have a whole video on it if you're curious. I'll leave it up there for you. And then other stationery that I'm bringing, I'm keeping it really light because I've been doing a lot of traveling lately, and I've pretty much nailed down what works for me as far as what I'm actually going to use journaling wise. And for the pen show in particular, I'm probably not going to do any hardcore journaling, so I'm not bringing very much. Clip. I love these scissors. I bring these every time I travel. I have a whole drawer of them, but TSA approved, but you just flip them out like that, and they're little scissors. I love these. They're cheap. Always my Tombow Fudenosuke. Love it for headers, for anything. I use this bad boy all the time. Glue tape for sticking in ephemera into the pen show insert. And then just this little bag of swatching related, or not swatching, for sample related things. So if I want to make samples, you know, you're hanging out and you're like, man, I really like that ink. And they're like, oh, you can have some. And then I like to be prepared. So I have a little pipette in there, a blunt syringe, and a few small sample vials. So that is all of the other stationery that I'm bringing. So very light. I also have a little packable tote bag in here as well for any purchases, or if I just end up filling this bag quickly, then I just have another little tote bag that I can carry around. I don't like carrying around a bunch of like the shopping bags that you're given, and so I'm hoping I can consolidate into this. And then the only other thing that I don't have in the bag yet, which I need to put in there, is an empty pouch, which really I could use this. I don't know. I need to get an empty pouch or an empty little clear something to place ephemera in. Or you know what? I could just put ephemera in these pockets. So I'm not adding to the bag anymore. I'll just put any ephemera I get in these front and back pockets, and even like small stickers and ephemera and stuff I can stick in here. So yeah, I am super excited about the show. I'm excited to see pen friends again. Let me know if you will be there and how you prep yourself for pen shows. I feel like sometimes I get a little crazy with prep, but I feel like this time I did pretty good. Everything feels really minimal because at the end of the day, I'm hanging out. I'm actually not doing too much in my planner, in my inserts while I'm there. So we'll see. I'm not even bringing my planner this time, I don't think. I may just bring this insert. But yeah, like this video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you want to keep hanging out. If you want to see more pen show experiences and what I picked up at the Chicago Pen Show earlier this year, I'll leave that for you here. It's a whole like vlog and haul situation. It's a good time. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.